Hello, incoming ninth graders, class of 2028. Welcome to Amador Valley High School. We're really excited for you to be students of ours for next school year, and we want to cover information about course selections for the 2024-2025 school year. This presentation will cover the counseling team, important dates, high school requirements versus college eligibility requirements, the typical ninth grade course load, and important things to consider, electives, CTE, which stands for Career Tech Education, and honors courses, balance versus burnout, important links and stuff, and then frequently asked questions. This is the AVHS counseling department. So Mr. Mua has students with the last names A through CL. Ms. Hashimi has students with the last names CM through E, and she's also our college and career counselor. Ms. McEntee Ponce has students with the last names F through HA. I'm Ms. Pacheco, and I have students with the last names HB through LEB. Ms. Torres has students with the last names Lee through O. Ms. Maloney has students with the last names P through SOL. Ms. Tran has students with the last names SOM through Z. We have our support counselor, Ms. Yu, our registrar, Ms. Dale, our ROP specialist, Ms. Gill, our counseling secretary, Ms. Strouch, and our counseling secretary, Ms. Anna Malai. How can you get involved? You can play a sport at Amador. Amador has a various number of different sports teams. We've got football, volleyball, tennis, cross country, water polo, soccer, basketball, golf, track and field, baseball, softball, and lacrosse, to name a few. Students must have a 2.0 GPA, and this includes your second semester 8th grade grades for fall sports. So a 2.0 is a C average with no Fs. So make sure that you keep at least a 2.0 GPA this spring at your middle school in order to be eligible to play a fall sport. You can join a club. There's Link Crew, the Dawn Squad. Link Crew is a group of upperclassmen that help link freshmen to the high school. So they present about once a month in PE classes and help support the freshmen during their freshman year. Dawn Squad, if you've gone to any Amador sporting events, you may see a group of students decked out in their Dawn gear supporting their athletic team and cheering the team on. Those members are members of the Dawn Squad. Interact is a volunteer club. Get Set is a group of students finding out about different careers, and then robotics is if you're interested in robots. There is a link here to the AVHS Club website, so you can click on that link to find out about the different clubs. Usually within the first couple weeks of school, there's a club fair that takes place on the quad at lunch for students to find out more about clubs that are offered here on campus. And there's a variety of different clubs for students to choose to join. I would encourage you to get involved in activities that you're interested in while you're here at Amador. So some important upcoming dates. The course selection window to pick your classes for next school year is going to open Friday, February 2nd at midnight, and then it will close on Friday, February 9th at 11:59 p.m. Student and families will be able to enter course selections in Student View. We will be sharing directions with you on how to do that in the near future. The curriculum fair is coming up on Monday, January 22nd. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. in the large gym. Teachers will be available to answer questions about their courses. I would strongly encourage you to attend, find out about the different course offerings here at Amador, and get to meet some of the Amador teachers and get your questions answered. The counselors will be putting on an incoming 9th grade question and answer session on Wednesday, January 24th in the multipurpose room. The first session will be from 5:45 to 6:45. Session 2 will be from 6:55 to 7:55. So you are welcome to attend one of the sessions, whichever time works best for your schedule. Pleasanton Virtual Academy will be taking applications for next school year between February 2nd and February 9th if you're interested in enrolling in PVA. Avid question and answer night for incoming 9th graders will be a virtual meeting on Monday, January 29th from 5 to 6 p.m. And the link to join the virtual meeting will be provided closer to the event. So please look out for that information. Course selections for a confirming email with your course selections will be in March. Families will be receiving an email confirming course selections for the 2024-25 school year at that time. Earning high school credits. So what is a credit? A credit is a school unit which is earned for passing a class. How do I earn credits? So to pass a class, you need to earn a D- or better. So D- or higher earns you credits for graduation. You need a C or above for the class to count for college admissions. But for graduation purposes, you can pass your class with a D- or above. How many credits can I earn in one semester? If you're enrolled in 6 courses, you can earn up to 30 credits each semester. Excuse me. Can I lose credits? Yes. So, okay, let me clarify. So you can't lose the credits you've already earned. However, if you fail a class, you will not earn credits for it and may need to make it up during summer school or Saturday academy to remain on track to graduate. How many credits do you need to graduate? You need 230 credits. How many credits can I earn in 4 years? Okay, so we're going to do some math. Typically, students take 6 classes each year of high school. So 6 classes times 5 credits per semester gives you 30 credits. 30 credits times 2 semesters, because each school year has 2 semesters, you will earn 60 credits. And then each year you earn 60 credits. You have 4 years of high school, so that gives you a total of 240 overall credits earned, which leaves you with a 10 credit cushion. So technically, you could not pass 2 semesters of a class and still be okay for graduation. However, I do not recommend that, and hopefully none of you will find yourself in that situation. Competitive subject requirements, comparative subject requirements. So we're going to compare the graduation requirements for PUSD versus the University of California, which is what UC stands for, and the CSUs, which is the Cal State University. So University of California takes about the top 10%, I would say, of high school students. And then the Cal States take about the top 1/3 of high school students. So as we go through the requirements, you'll see that the colleges recommend a lot of the times that you go beyond the minimum subject requirements. That is one of the criteria that the UCs and CSUs look at for admissions purposes. So again, we're going to go over the minimum requirements for subjects for admissions, but most colleges will be looking to see that you've gone beyond the minimum subject requirements. Okay, so for history, you need 35 credits or 3.5 years of history in order to graduate. You need either a semester of ethnic studies or global studies, which you take your freshman year. You need 1 year of world history, which you'll take your sophomore year, 1 year of US history that you'll take your junior year, a semester of civics, and a semester of econ, which you'll take your senior year. For UCs and CSUs, they require 1 year world history and 1 year US history for admissions. The ethnic studies or global studies in your civics and econ will count as college prep electives. So by meeting your graduation requirements, you're automatically meeting two subject areas for UC and CSU admissions. English is exactly the same. You need 4 years of English for graduation and 4 years of English for UC and CSU admission. For math, for graduation, you need 2 years of math. 1 year must be algebra or the equivalent of algebra. So if you took algebra 1 in middle school, then you've already met the algebra requirement. Then the math that you take your freshman year, let's say you're taking geometry, that would count as year 1. And then your sophomore year, let's say you take algebra 2, that would count as your 2 years of math for graduation. For UC and CSU, they require 3 years of math, the algebra, the geometry, and algebra 2. Pre-cal would be considered the recommended 4th year of math. If you took the algebra 1 in middle school, they would still count that as your algebra requirement for admissions. And then if you came in taking geometry your freshman year, that would be your 2nd year of math. Algebra 2 would be your 3rd year of math. And then if you did pre-cal as a junior, that would be your 4th year. And then if you went on to AP Calculus, that would be your 5th year. So if you start out with Algebra 1 as a freshman, that would meet the graduation requirement for algebra and the 1st year of the recommended math for college admissions. Sophomore year, you would do geometry. Junior year, you would do algebra 2. And senior year, you would do pre-cal. I'll be going over some of the other pathways to get to the requirements for math for graduation and UC CSU when we cover the math slides, because there are about 3 or 4 different pathways that you can go through to meet the requirement for graduation and for 4-year college admissions. For science, you need 2 years of science in order to graduate. 1 year of a life science, which the entry level is biology, and 1 year of a physical science. Physical science is earth and space science, physics, or chem. Those are entry level physical science offerings. For UCCSU, they require 2 years, 1 year of a life science with lab, so that would be the biology, and then 1 year of a physical science with lab, that could be the earth and space science, that could be the chem or the physics. And then they recommend 3 years. So once you've met the minimum subject requirement in life science or physical science, I should say, your 3rd year of science could be from either of those categories. And we'll go over some additional science courses on the science slide. Language other than English. For graduation, you either need a year of language other than English, or 1 year of a visual performing art, or 1 year of a career technical education course or CTE course. For UCs and CSUs, they require 2 years of a language, and they recommend 3. Now, it needs to be of the same language. So if you did 2 years Spanish and you did Spanish 3, after that, that would be the 3 years recommended. And really, they look at it based on levels. So sometimes we have dual immersion kids that come up to the high school, and freshman year, they enroll in Spanish 3. If you earned a C minus or above in Spanish 3 your freshman year, then the colleges would recognize that as 3 years of Spanish completed. If you took Spanish 1A and Spanish 1B in middle school and you came to Amador and enrolled in Spanish 2, the Spanish 1A and Spanish 1B would count as 1 year of high school world language. Your Spanish 2, your freshman year, would count as your 2nd year. And then if your sophomore year you did Spanish 3, that would meet the 3 years recommended. We do have additional languages for students to take, and I will cover those on the world language slide. Visual performing art, for graduation purposes, you either need a year of a visual performing art, which we abbreviate to VAPA, or 1 year of a language other than English or world language, or 1 year of a CTE career tech education course. For the UCs and CSUs, they do require 1 year of a visual performing art for admissions. Sometimes you have room your freshman year, sometimes you have room your senior year. Sophomore year can get a little tight just based on what courses are required and what students are typically taking their sophomore year, but sometimes students have room to take it that year or their junior year. You just need to make sure that you take 1 year of a visual performing art during your 4 years here at Amador. College and career, career technical education, CTE, either 1 year of a CTE class or 1 year of a language other than English or 1 year of a visual performing art. The CTE class is not a required class for UCs or CSU. However, a lot of the times the CTE classes will either count as a college prep elective or may be considered a college prep course in some of the other subject areas. So you can always check Amador's UC A through G list to check to see what subject area the course that you taken falls under for UC CSU approval. You need 2 years of PE in order to graduate. PE is required for all freshmen to take. It's not a UC or CSU requirement for admissions. Health is a 1-semester class. You take that the semester that you don't take your global studies or ethnic studies your freshman year. It's not required by UC or CSU, but does count as a college prep elective. Electives, you need 80 elective credits in order to graduate, and electives are considered anything that goes beyond the graduation subject requirement. So like, for instance, a third year of math or a third year of science would go down under electives for graduation purposes, or anything that's not listed in the specific subject areas. So it could be like leadership, or it could be AVID or creative writing. Trying to think what else. Culinary, any of the culinary classes. Actually, culinary could fall under CTE, but if you have already met that requirement, culinary could fall under electives. Academic support, TA, any of those classes would fall down under electives. So you need 1 year of a college prep elective for the UCs and CSUs. Again, it could be your health and global studies or ethnic studies. It could be your civics or econ. And then any course that you go beyond the minimum subject requirement in. So like if you did a 4th year of math or a 3rd year of science or a 3rd year of world language, any of those would also fall under the college prep elective category. You need 230 credits in order to graduate. You need 15 courses for the UC CSU admissions. Grades for graduation, D- or better will earn you credits. For UCs and CSUs, you need a C- or above for the course to count for admissions. There's no testing requirement for graduation. The UCs and CSUs no longer use the SATs or ACTs for admission, so they no longer have testing requirements. They actually won't even look at the scores for admissions. Community service, you need 20 hours of community service that can be completed anytime during high school. You can't start them till the first day of 9th grade. But you do have 4 years to complete those 20 hours of community service. And there is a website on our AVHS website that covers community service if you have any questions. Community service is not required by UCs or CSUs. I would say overall that the colleges expect students to do some kind of community service during their time in high school. And there are spots on the application to list your community service. Okay, typical 9th grade course load. 9th grade English is required. You're required to take ethnic studies or global studies, and then the other semester will be health. You need to take a year of math, and we'll talk about what recommendation or what course you should be going into for next school year. Typically, freshmen are looking at going into algebra or geometry. Some of you might be taking your first world language or language other than English, or your second level of language other than English. Some of you might be taking a science, or you might be taking an elective course like a CTE course or a VAPA course. And then, of course, you also will be taking PE. So the above schedule is a typical course for ninth graders. However, not all students follow the model, and that's okay. So you can decide to take the freshman year courses that you feel like is the best fit. But just a reminder that English, ethnic studies, or global studies and health, PE, and math are all required at the freshman level. So you really have two, we call it electives, your freshman year, because you're electing to take the course. But again, usually it's either world language and or science or a CT or a VAPA course. Okay, 7-period day. So students that are interested in taking 7 courses, you would be eligible to sign up for 7 if you are taking the following course. So if you are a music student, so you're in band, orchestra, or choir, you're going to be in leadership for next year, you're going to be an AVID for next year, you're taking a CTE or an ROP course. Honors courses. So honors courses are more rigorous than college prep courses. Most honors courses like honors freshman English, excuse me, do not have an extra GPA boost. What that means is that grades are on a 4.0 scale at Amador. So whether you have like an A or an A minus, you would earn a 4.0 GPA. If you had a B plus, B, or B minus, it would be a 3.0. Weighted courses, or if you got an extra GPA boost, we have a limited number of honors courses that have the weighted GPA or the extra GPA boost. All of our AP courses do. What that means is that instead of an A being a 4.0 in your GPA, the A would be a 5.0. So you have the opportunity to have a higher GPA. So when this is referring to the GPA boost, that's what it's referring to. And if you want to know which honors courses are weighted, you can go on our UC A through G list. It will let you know which honors courses are weighted. And it will also indicate that the AP courses are weighted. Okay, so back to the extra GPA boost. So honors freshman English does not have the extra GPA boost. Honors geometry doesn't. Honors algebra 2 does not. However, colleges do consider that students have challenged themselves by taking an honors course. So one of the criteria that the colleges look at, they look to see if you've gone beyond the minimum requirements. They also look to see if you challenge yourself by taking honors courses or AP courses. We're going to get to balance a little later in the application, in the presentation, because it's good to challenge yourself, but you don't want to overwhelm yourself. So you're really looking for that, perfect balance of challenging yourself and being successful at the schedule that in the courses you've selected for yourself. Honors courses also typically require more reading. They move through the material more quickly and can have some more work for students to complete prior to the first day of school. Only take honors courses in subjects you truly enjoy, and if you've done well in these subjects in the past. So a course that you have a strong background in, or you really enjoy, because it is going to take up more time and more work. And if you're not interested in it, it just feels tedious, right? And we don't want that. So there's a variety of different honors and AP courses available at Amador. So take the ones that you're interested in, but again, make sure you're balancing your overall workload. English options. So you have 2 options your freshman year. You have the college prep freshman English class, and this gives a little bit of a summary of what they cover and then the potential novels that they read. I'm not going to read it to you. I'll have the PowerPoint available to you so that you can click through and read, spend more time reading the description of the courses at that time. There's also going to be access to the course catalog. So in there, it also has a description of the topics that the different subjects cover. Honors Freshman English. So this covers some of the subject areas that they'll be covering, what they'll be focusing on, and some of the potential texts that they'll be reading from. So again, not going to read it, but you can go back and read it when you get a chance. Ethnic Studies or Global Studies in Health. I'm not going to read these either, but freshmen have a choice between Global Studies, which is a one-semester course, or Ethnic Studies, which is also a one-semester course, so depending on your area of interest. And then that's going to pair with health. And again, you can, when you get a chance, you can go back to the PowerPoint and read the description of the courses. Math options. So you're going to select the next level of math and ask your teacher for their recommendation. Math placement in the freshman year is not universal, so students are going to want to make the best choice for themselves based on their own individual needs, abilities, and interests. I have a link here. It's a message from the PUSD math teachers. It does cover the differences between geometry and honors geometry, algebra 2 and honors algebra 2. It covers some information about honors pre-cal, which is our weighted honors math course. The message was also included in the letter that was sent out, the incoming ninth grade scheduling letter. So you may have already read that, but if you want to go back and read it again, or if you didn't get a chance to read it, the link is here if you would like to look at the recommendations from the PUSD high school math teachers. Math placement. So if you're currently in Math 8, you're going to want to sign up for Algebra 1 for next year. If you're in Math 8, Algebra 1 or Algebra 1, you're going to sign up for either geometry or honors geometry. If you're in honors geometry, you have the choice of signing up for Algebra 2 or honors algebra 2. Okay. Now, after ninth grade, here are the different pathways that you could take. So freshman year, if you're in Algebra 1, then you're looking sophomore year. So sophomore year, you could either do Math 2, Geometry, or Course 1. Math 2 is a slower paced geometry course. It's part of the integrated math sequence. So if you did Math 2, Math 3, and Math 4, you're covering geometry and Algebra 2 over 3 years instead of over 2. It will meet the minimum 3-year math requirement for college admissions for UC-CSU. So if you did Algebra 1, Math 2, Math 3, Math 4, again, you would meet the minimum math requirement and cover Algebra 1, Geometry, and Algebra 2 over 3 years. The Math 2, Math 3, and Math 4 will cover the Geometry and Algebra 2 over 3 years instead of over 2 years. You could do the traditional route where it's Algebra 1, then sophomore year geometry, junior year Algebra 2, and then senior year pre-cal. And again, those could be honors level or college prep level. You could do Algebra 1 your freshman year and go into Course 1 your sophomore year. Course 1 covers a year of geometry and the first semester of Algebra 2 in 1 year. So covers a year and a half of math. In 11th grade, you would take Course 2, which covers the second half of Algebra 2 and a year of pre-cal. And then senior year, you could either take College Prep Calculus, AP Calculus AB, or AP Calculus BC. AP Calculus AB covers 2 semesters of college calculus. AP Calculus BC covers 3 semesters of college calculus, and that's the difference. If you come in as a freshman taking geometry or honors geometry, your sophomore year, you could do Algebra 2 or honors Algebra 2. Junior year, you could do pre-cal or honors pre-cal. Senior year, you could do AP Calc AB or AP Calc BC. Honors Algebra 2, freshman year, you could take in 10th grade honors pre-cal, 11th grade AP Calc BC, and then senior year you could take multivariable, which is the next level of math, or you could always do AP Stat, which is not part of the sequence, but is another AP level math class if you wanted to do that. So again, this is years ahead, but sometimes I know families have questions on like, okay, then what comes next or what does the pathway look like? So just wanted to cover that with you. Please know this will not be the last time you see this slide. Probably by the time you're a senior, you would probably be able to recite it back to me. But just want to make sure that I covered it so that you had an understanding of the different pathways that you can take in math. Science options. So for science freshman year, and again, not a requirement, but a class that you could take if you were interested as a freshman. Biology is a life science, and then there's principles of biomedical science, which you can take concurrently with biology, but you either have to take it the same time as bio, or you have to take bio before the principles of bioscience. Sometimes you have room for that your freshman year, sometimes you don't. But definitely an option if you're interested in doing both your freshman year. Physical science options. So earth and space science, chemistry, the recommendation is completion of algebra with a C or better, strong reading comprehension, independent learning, problem solving skills. And then there's physics, which it requires the completion of algebra, geometry, and algebra 2. It's recommended. Strong reading comprehension, independent learning, and problem solving skills. Really being concurrently enrolled with physics makes the most sense because of the math that it covers. So if you're a freshman and you're taking Algebra 1, you probably would want to do earth and space if you wanted a physical science, or biology if you're wanting to do your life science. Typically, most of the freshmen, if they're taking a science, you would find them in either earth and space or biology. Sophomore year, you see sophomores usually in biology and chem. Junior year, you're seeing kids in chem and physics. So don't usually see many kids in physics as freshmen or kids in chem as freshmen, but we do have one or two here and there each year. So just want to mention that is an option. Choose a science that's best for you. So again, I'm not going to run through and read everything, but your options are earth and space, biology. You could do principles of biomed as long as you're taking it concurrently with the biology, chem, or physics. Elective options. So why are elective options just as important as core requirements? So you get a chance to explore your interests and discover talents. You know, high school is a good time to kind of take different classes, see what you're interested in, because you may think you're interested in one subject and then you take the class and you're like, oh no, that's not what I thought it was. I'm not really interested in that subject. Or you could take something that you thought, I wonder if I'd be interested in this, and find out that you are really good at it and it's something that really interests you. So if you're interested in a subject, now is the time to kind of try out different subjects and find out a little bit more about the subject and see if you're interested in it or not. It empowers students to try something new. It highlights academic abilities and it shows areas of interest on college applications. It fosters student engagement and self-confidence, develop real-world skills, and help transition into adulthood. And then, of course, because they're fun. So many choices. So for language other than English, we have American Sign Language, which we call ASL. We offer Mandarin for Chinese, Japanese, French, Korean, and typically Korean's offered through PVA, and Spanish. So we have a variety of languages for students to pick from. For English electives, so these don't count as the English requirement for graduation, these are electives. We have creative writing, debate, journalism, and yearbook. For visual performing art, we have art, ceramics, digital arts, drama, band, choir, orchestra, photography, theater production, video production, and more. You'll notice your freshman year, you'll have access to a certain number of electives. Sophomore year, a little bit more. And then junior and senior year, you have access to a lot more electives, partially because your schedule kind of opens up a little bit more. You don't have as many subject requirements, and you'll have more elective options to choose from. For CTE, some examples are computer science, culinary skills, intro to engineering, and more. For other subject areas, there's leadership, there's AVID. These classes require an application and most times an interview process. This is not an exhaustive list. Please see the 9th grade course selection sheet for a full list of courses that are available to you. And that will be sent out in the letter I send out, and then also included as a link to this PowerPoint. Okay. So career and technical education, I'm not going to read this whole thing either. You can go back and read it, but a lot of times it's a sequence of classes that you can take if you're interested in doing a pathway. There's usually a capstone course that you can take that kind of ties in all the courses that you've taken up to that point together. Usually they want you to take courses in a 2 to 3 year sequence. And then here are the different kind of umbrellas that the courses fall under. So arts and media, education, energy and environment, engineering, health science, and so on. Are you wanting to take band next year? We have a lot of students involved in our very amazing and award-winning band here at Amador. So you have two options. You do have the option of doing a 7-period day. That means that you would have an A period which starts at 7 a.m. If you do not want an A period, so you don't want to start at 7, then you would sign up for 4 academic courses, band, concert band, I should say, and PE. If you do want an A period, so you do want a 7 a.m. class, you would sign up for 5 academic courses, PE, and concert band. Marching band is a requirement for 9th grade, but is not a separate class. So just be aware that that is a requirement. Okay, so don't burn yourself out. So again, we're looking at the importance of school life balance. So you want to challenge yourself, but not overwhelm yourself. High school is a great time in your life, so we want you to be able to spend time with your friends, to do things that you enjoy, to spend time with your family. And we know that you're going to be exercising, sleep's important, eating's important. You have probably chores at home that you need to do. So there's only so many hours in the day. So when you are picking your courses for next school year, you want courses that are going to challenge you, but then you also need to keep in mind that you have all these other priorities and important things that you need to take care of as well. So don't sign up for more than you can handle. What I would recommend is look at the courses that you took this year. Look at how much time you spent studying and preparing. Think about how stressed out or not stressed out you were, and use that as kind of a gauge as to what level of difficulty you feel like you can handle. So were your courses in middle school too easy, too challenging? What were your grades? Were they better or worse than you expected? What was your time commitment? Did you get enough sleep? Did you have enough time to be successful? Think about the things that you're planning on participating in. So are you going to be in 2 or 3 sports? Are you going to be doing one sport where you have practice and then competitions almost every day after school for like 2 hours? Are you going to be in band and then have the competitions on the weekends to think about? Are you going to have a job? Do you help take care of your family or siblings? Are there any other commitments that you have? And how would they impact your schedule and your mental health? And excuse me. And so then think about what you like at school. If I took like one less rigorous course, would my GPA go up? Like, what are my priorities? So these are all questions you should be asking yourself as you're selecting your courses for next school year. There is a little bit of a transition time between 8th grade and ninth grade where kids are getting acclimated, getting used to what the expectations are at high school, getting used to what the expectations are at high school. I do see sometimes where students are bright and they haven't had to study too much in middle school and they get to high school and they're realizing, like, oh, I have to learn how to study now. So try and start using those skills now at the middle school level. So how do you prepare for tests? How is your note taking? Can you explain what you learned in your own words to like a parent or a friend? Do you have study groups that you get together with to help prepare for tests? So these are the things that maybe now would be a good time to start working on to help with that transition from 8th grade to ninth grade. And then parents, I know kids probably aren't going to be happy with me saying this, but I would say maybe be a little bit more involved with monitoring, like assignment completion, checking in, see how the classes are going, see if the kids need any additional support with their classes, whether that means to go into access to get extra support from their teachers or do we usually have peer tutoring after school Monday through Thursday in the library? Like, does a student need to do that? How are they in terms of organization? So sometimes they just need a little bit more support in the transition to high school. And then once they get their footing and they know what to expect, then, they can move forward. But just some advice or suggestions in terms of support for incoming ninth graders. So, what these two charts show is the chart on the left is showing that they didn't start out with a super rigorous schedule. They started out with a course load that they felt like they could handle. They can always increase the level of difficulty. They did really well their freshman year. And then sophomore year, they increased their level of difficulty. Junior year, they increased it. Senior year, they increased it. And each year that they increased it, they continued to be successful. Where it gets hard, and this happens sometimes because it's trial and error, right? You don't always know how much you can handle until you're in it. And sometimes we overdo it and then we have to make changes or make adjustments. So the example on the right is showing that the student maybe took on a little bit more than they could handle and then didn't do as well. So they had to cut back and then they tried it again. So ideally, and again, this is life. So things happen and things don't always work out as we'd like and things don't always go smoothly. In an ideal world, it would be great to have the chart on the left where you start out not as rigorous and kind of work your way up. And not as rigorous looks different for each student. So I'm not going to give you a number of honors or not honors because it looks different for each kid versus overdoing it, having to pull back, and then not feeling great about how you're doing in your classes is not ideal. But if that happens, then, of course, your counselor's here, your parents are here to help support you through that. But just wanting to give you as much information as we can so that you can make the best choices for you and your family. Okay. So again, this is talking about 4-year planning. Um, you don't necessarily need to do this right now, but if you are wanting to kind of look at based on what your goals are, um, think about, okay, this is what I'm going to take freshman year. This is what I'm going to take sophomore year. This is what I'm going to take junior year. This is what I'm going to take senior year. I know that some of the high school counselors have been coming to the middle schools or will be coming to the middle schools and helping kids develop 4-year plans through Zello. That is helpful to kind of think it through a little bit. Like if it's my goal to go to a UC, what classes do I need to take each year so that I meet the subject requirements um, in order to be eligible to apply for a 4-year? So in that sense, yes, that's helpful. I just don't want people to feel like overwhelmed or it's too much or um, it's just a lot at once and you're only an eighth grader. So I get that part of it too. Just know that nothing's set in stone. You know, we can change it each year and make adjustments to it, whether it's, maybe you're interested in a different subject than you thought you were, or um, you want to have a more rigorous schedule or a less rigorous schedule. So planning it out is good. Just try and not overwhelm yourself. You've got 4 long years. Your counselors are here to help support you and answer any questions that you have. Okay, different support at Amador. So we have our support counselor here. This is Miss Yu. She works Monday through Friday, and she is available for student drop-ins for when students are in crisis, um, and is available to do social emotional counseling. Um, our assigned counselor, your alphabet counselor, also is able to provide you that kind of support while we also do the academics. Miss Yu's sole job is to provide social and emotional support for students, and she's amazing. She's always busy because students utilize her so much. So she's a great resource, and I would encourage you to meet Miss Yu. She'll be going into the freshman health and global studies courses, so she'll introduce herself and talk a little bit more about her the kinds of supports that the counseling department offers students. So you'll be meeting her in the fall. We have our AV Wellness Center that's open. It's in the library. It's the first door on the right hand side. It's open between 8 and 4 p.m. daily. So, really, this is just a space for students to take a breather. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed and you need like a 10-minute break, you ask your teacher for a pass. You're just going to go in and sit quietly. Um, and relax, meditate. We have books that kids can color in. It's just really a quiet spot to kind of calm down and then go back to class. So, really, it's a max of 15 minutes, but that is a resource that many of our students use just to have a break if they're feeling overwhelmed in their classes. College and Career Center. So we do have a College and Career Center here on campus. They organize college rep visits. They plan the college and career fairs. They advertise scholarships and provide information about jobs and intern opportunities. So that's another great resource. Accessing your counselor. So we have a period during the day on Mondays and Thursdays. It's called Access, and it's a time where counselors do workshops, or I know with course selections, we have some question and answer sessions where students will sign up for it and get their questions answered. It's also a time to go and meet with teachers if you have questions on certain subjects, or if you need to make up a test. A lot of students use that time to make up tests or get some extra help or support. But so our workshops is a time for students to come and meet with us or hear our presentations. Check your email and listen to announcements for upcoming workshops hosted by the counseling department. You would sign up using FlexiSchedule if you see a workshop you're interested in attending, and we'll go over when you get to Amador how to set up your FlexiSchedule and how to sign up for a teacher or a counselor workshop or to meet with your counselor. You can request an appointment with your counselor or support counselor or the College and Career Center once you're a student here at Amador. For right now, any questions that you have, of course, you can come to our Q&A session on the 24th. But otherwise, you can go to your current middle school counselor to get your questions answered. As soon as you're a ninth grader here on the first day of school, we're happy to answer any questions and support you. And again, we have our question and answer session on the 24th, and then the curriculum fair if you have any questions for the teachers on the 22nd. You can email your counselor if you have a quick question once you start school here. And then we do student drop-ins during brunch or lunch. And a lot of students use that time. They just pop in, ask their question, and then they can go hang out with their friends at brunch or hang out with their friends at lunch. Here are some helpful links and resources. So we've got scheduling information. That's a link that'll take you to the counseling website. There'll be the program guide will be listed here with the link. Your course selection sheet, which again will have a list of all the course offerings for ninth graders. There's a link to the AVHS course video and slide deck and live webcast link. So teachers recorded videos about their courses or PowerPoints and have linked them into this document. So you can click on that and watch any of the videos or PowerPoints about the courses you're interested in. There is a link to a 4-year plan if you want to do a paper 4-year plan. Again, you're working on implementing your 4-year plan in Zello. So that's another resource for you to use and revisit when you need to make updates to it. You're going to be selecting classes through Synergy's student view, and the course selection window will be open again on Friday, February 2nd at midnight through Friday, February 9th at 11:59 p.m. And then there's a link to Student View. We'll have more specific directions when it gets closer on how to select your courses. And then again, it has the scheduling window again, February 2nd through February 9th. Again, the curriculum fair is going to be Monday, January 22nd from 6 to 8 in the large gym, and teachers will be available to answer questions about their courses. And then our incoming ninth grade question and answer session will be Wednesday, January 4th in the MP. Session 1 is from 5:45 to 6:45. You can come get your question answered and go. Or if you want to stay and hear other people's questions and the answers, you're welcome to do that as well. And then we'll have a 10-minute break. And then session 2 will begin at 6:55 and go to 7:55. And again, that will be in the multipurpose room. Pleasanton Virtual Academy will be taking applications between February 2nd and February 9th for the 2024-25 school year. So their windows, the same window as ours. Avid Q&A night for incoming ninth graders, so question and answer night for incoming ninth graders will be a virtual meeting on Monday, January 29th from 5 to 6 p.m. And a link will be provided closer to the event. We'll probably record it, so we'll have that available too for families to view later. Course selection confirming email. In March, families will receive an email confirming course selections for the 2024-2025 school year. Please know you're going to have limited opportunities to make changes to your schedule, so really make sure that when you're selecting your courses, you've really given it a lot of thought, that those are the courses that you want to pursue next school year. Okay, and thank you so much for listening. We, again, are really looking forward to having you as our students for next school year, and look forward to working with you. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck on your course selections, but we'll be here to help support you through the process.